as I was watching, I was thinking like, you don't just make a film like this by doing a Google search. Like, what was the research like, and how did, because there's the obvious films, there's Clerks and there's Hamlet, but there's all these films that I had never heard of before. And how did you find that?
People say what you just said, and I always say two things. Which movies were you not familiar with? I'm always curious to hear people's lists because they're always different.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you where we found stuff, but you'll have to be specific because we've got 160 some odd movies. Every one of them I have a different answer for.
Wow.
There is no blanket answer other than the totemic ones, the ones that would come up if you Googled. Those were in Dan's original chapter. Those were in his research. And then his research assistant did find ones, some quite well known, others very, very unknown. Some of the 2000s ones, your Stan Helsings, things like that, she was able to find. I obviously was not familiar with those films. But there is no one answer. A lot of these probably, again, Clyde and I are film watchers and devout watching movies every day. You work on this for 10 years. Some of the stupidest selections in this, the answer is, I watched it. I wasn't watching movies saying I must find video stores. I must see video stores in the background. But some of the stupidest ones, how did you clock a video store in the background of Sister Act?
Right, or Ghost.
At some point between 2015 and 2024, I watched Ghost. I watched Sister Act. Ghost has been watched by tens of millions of people over the last 35 years. Not one of them has ever said, the thing about this film is that Patrick Swayze is killed in front of a video store.
Right.
But I said that when I finally watched Ghost for the first time in my life in like 2020. And that became essential. There is nobody saying Ghost features a video store. There is now.
Yeah.
The answer is different, but I am curious which films jumped out at you.
Oh, I mean, I've seen The Naked Gun like 400 times, and never once did I ever see a video store in the background. So I guess, it's like when you're looking for it, it'll show up a lot, and it probably did show up.
It shows up, and you tell your friends you're doing this, and every once in a while your friend says, "I got one for you." But what you just said, you've seen it many times. You never notice the video store. I hope with this movie, its durational experience of watching it. You watch this movie after an hour. You're now watching every clip the way I watch everything, which is you cut in here and I see your frame. I'm immediately scanning every shelf for everything I recognize. And in every scene I've ever seen in a video store in a movie, which are all in Video Heaven, the characters are a blur to me. I'm looking at the shelves,
yes,
the videos,
totally.
the sections, and my hope is that by giving people 3 hours to marinate in this world, after an hour, something our lawyer said at some point is, when we get to this clip, some clip an hour and a half into the movie, why don't you call out what's on the shelves the way you do earlier? Or why don't you call out that there are posters hanging up here of the film's distributor? And I said, because I need the viewer an hour and a half into this film to be making those connections for themselves.
Yeah.
Because if you are making those connections for yourself, I have now taught you how to watch this material the way I watch it, which is I would never miss a video store in the background of a film. I've seen some since we finished the movie, and it kills me, but it's okay that they're not in the movie, because that part's not meant to be exhaustive. It's meant to be suggestive of the fact that this was just consistent. But to me, that is where my eyes go. It is what my brain does, and these things just appeared to me. And a lot of the stupidest examples in this film, the answer is at some point I watched Sister Act. I was watching The Naked Gun. I was watching Lethal Weapon 3. And then some of the really bizarre examples, a friend of mine named Michael Ferrari, who was the head buyer at Kim's Video when I worked there and had worked previously at another location, a huge collector, thousands of Blu-rays. I sent him a cut of the movie 3 years ago. And we had, it was basically the movie. But then he wrote back with 30 films that nobody had mentioned, had never come up on research. And some of the most unhinged films that we have are from Michael's list. And it took me and Clyde 4 editing sessions to work through Michael's list, which was everything from A Video Store in the Background of 7 Minutes in Heaven, to Beethoven's Third, to a TV remake of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Emo Phillips's Meet the Parents. Michael's list was stuff that was not on our radar, but he just had it and he fired it off immediately, and it plugged in 24 things that no one else was going to give us.
Yeah, I noticed